It almost feels like you inhabit a different planet, because I have been doing these CEO interviews trying to understand what's happening at company level and the kind of conditions that everybody is dealing with. And invariably, the answer is always difficult market conditions. And here we are. You're still going double digit, not only double digit, high teens. Where are you finding the growth?
Listen, I think it's not easy at all. I think the nature of our business is that we've kind of got a growth model where we have established businesses that are actually doing very well, and they're growing strongly and robustly, and they cover things like healthcare that are fairly inelastic within a confidence band. The other point is that we've got emerging businesses that are really coming through. Ping On Health in China, our Vitality Group is globalizing the model, and then our Discovering Sure here that are all kind of in their early stage of breaking into profitability, so all were profitable, and they've all grown strongly. So the kind of effect of the combination of those has created this very strong growth. But I mean, I think if we're going to review, every business has performed well.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you to pick some star performers in these numbers.
Well, I think, look, they've all done well, but I think the obvious, Vitality Health in the UK had a fantastic year. It's had a few difficult years, had a tremendous year. Ping On Health has nearly doubled in scale. Discovering Sure has done well. So it's been an absolutely tremendous year. I think if you ask me, the star of our performance has been this kind of shared value model, using vitality and incentives and pricing that into all of our business in a very disciplined way. I think the effect of that shared value model has given us, I think, unique competitive advantage and fantastic fundamentals.
And it sounds like you're saying, even though we are all talking about a very difficult economic environment, I was just talking about those GDP numbers, that you think even in the remaining months of the year, going into next year, your businesses appear to be in a solid state where it's just continued growth.
Well, I think, listen, no hubris, and I think our fundamental social mandate is to make very complicated things like healthcare accessible to people. So it's a difficult thing to do, but I do think where we are now, I think that the growth can continue and should continue.
And the drivers are there. You have been talking about getting that bank, so you came in today, announced that you were taking up the 25% of Discovery Card that First Rand owns, 1.8 billion Rand you're going to pay for that. And then what that does, of course, is fuel this optimism that that bank is going to be here. How soon, though?
Well, the plan has been to get it out during 2018. To a large extent, the build is largely on track within budget. The license were issued by the Reserve Bank at the end of 2017, October 2017, was conditional on First Rand selling down over time, the 25%. The decision was made by both parties that it would be better if that was done as soon as possible.
Right.
And we spent a lot of time figuring out how to do that, the migration of the cards over time, the pacing, etc., etc. It's taken us a bit of time, delayed things slightly, but I'm hoping that we can get this out by 2018. That's the intention, and the team is focused on it.
How big is that business, by the way, that card business?
The card business is substantial. I mean, it grew its profits at 17%. The book is about nearly 4.5 billion. It made 414 million in profitability. And I think the amazing thing about it, the dynamics of it, the correlations to our model. So we found that people engaging in Vitality spend more, default less, leave us less. You know what I mean? So we're finding all this kind of DNA thread of behavioral stuff is tied together. So it's very important for us as a group, and very important for the belly of the bank.
You're under no illusions, of course, into the space that you are entering. Very competitive. You're taking on your former parent, First Rand. You're taking on some very big boys who have been around for a very long time. Talk us through again that competitive strategy that you're bringing up.
Well, listen, I think we have always gone into industries that are big, institutional, highly competitive. So there's nothing new in this. Having said that, our banking space is hotly contested. These are great companies, FNB to Standard. These are fantastic companies. There's no illusion. But I mean, I think we have always been less focused on competitors rather than can we offer a product set that meets the needs of our customers in the way that we know our model to work. And I've invariably found that the answer to that is yes, we achieve it. So it's going to take time. I mean, I think that there's so much expectation. I've seen in this, whatever we do, it takes 5 to 8 years to build an institutional business to scale. There's no shortcuts. I've learned that. Hard work.
If Elon Musk came back, the South African who's living in the US, if he came back and he heard that there's a man who's setting up a bank in an economy that's entered a technical recession, in an economy that has hardly grown in the past few years, in fact, whose people have been getting poorer over the years, they would say, this man is mad. Why are you coming in at this juncture?
Well, Firstly, I mean, it's important to say that it's in difficult times when opportunities are underpriced.
For sure.
So
here's Warren Buffett speaking.
Yeah, and I really believe that. It does, again, no hubris. That doesn't mean I called it correctly. I just do believe that there will be people in these difficult times that will see opportunity and will invest when others are scared. And I really believe that. Secondly, I think that while the country is going through difficult times, the country has potential to grow. It needs leadership from business and government to give people confidence. I believe that.
Yeah.
And I think we need investment. We need South African companies to invest in the environment.
That's true.
So we are long-term thinkers. There may be very difficult times.
Yeah.
We must do what we do. And again, I believe that there are massive profit pools out there sitting in the banks that I think are appealing for us. And we must meet the needs of our clients.
Yeah.
The recession hopefully will, over time, recede.
I can certainly say, come shake them up, Adrian. Would love it. Let's talk about China, because China is a big deal. And you have gone there over the past few years, and you now growing that business. And I remember when you first went out, one of my first thoughts was, this, if it works out, is going to be transformative. Is that still something that you see changing the way discovery is at the moment?
Well, listen, I think every aspect of China has played out well. We've been there a long time. I think the first 3 or so years, we were just kind of finding our feet. It was a very embryonic business. The market is just of considerable scale. Our partner Ping An is the most powerful global insurer, most powerful insurer globally today.
Sure.
And every aspect of that business, from the distribution channels to the product set to how it's worked, has just been doubling over the last number of years. And today we're doing like 25,000 cases a day, of new business. It's remarkable.
Sure.
But I think you've got to be realistic. The business at the moment is full of acquisition costs. New business strain.
Yeah.
It's going to take time for that profitability to emerge. So we've always been fairly measured about saying the potential is very big, but it's going to need time, and we're not rushing it.
How much time though, Adrian?
I think in 2 years the profitability will really, if it continues on this pathway, I think within 2 years the profitability will really emerge. I think the next year will still be muted because of the nature of acquisition costs, but it looks remarkably good. We've been very careful. Don't overplay it. There are all kinds of complexities and challenges, but it has had an unbelievable period. Yeah,
and we have seen the transformative power of China. I mean, just look at Naspers, just look at Tencent and that relationship and how it has completely turned that company. Let's go to the UK. Those who would leave the European Union at a time when unilateralism seems to be taking hold. How come you guys are doing so well in that economy when every day you read the headlines are negative? There's likely to be a hard Brexit. What likely impact do you see on your business going forward? Because you seem to be doing well in spite of everything. Yeah,
listen, it hasn't been an easy process. If you look at the actual development of our businesses, the health business had a tremendous year. And it had a few very difficult years. So it in fact came back from that and has done some really good things. That really kind of pushed the profitability up.
Sure.
Our life insurance business has not had an easy time. It's been a very low interest rate environment. Having said that, I think very judicious management of the company has done well. So that's grown quite nicely. The sum of the two, we cover now 1.1 million people in the UK.
Sure.
I think the actual Vitality chassis, the kind of model, has reached a stage of, it's been 2 businesses built from the ground up. I think for the first time we're seeing like a composite forming, the ability to do there what we've done here. So we're feeling, I think, fairly optimistic about the potential, but it is a very stagnant, difficult market. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So again, I think that if you can offer unique value for money, you can build great businesses in difficult times. And when things do turn, and they do, you're really well positioned. I mean, that's obviously crucial.
And you're not even talking about Europe.
Well, Europe we work with Generali through our Vitality group. So there's quite a bit we're doing in Germany and over time in Italy, in Austria and France. But it's on a much thinner model, using the Vitality structure, working in partners like we've done with AIA. So these again are early times. But again, the growth has been good.
So when you've got all these guns firing heavily all around you, who needs Africa?
I think a rational approach must be, you need to focus where you see opportunity and profit pools.
Sure.
I don't think that's a kind of a geographic issue. I think it's, does the model apply?
Sure.
Can you make it work? I've learned, I keep relearning. There are no shortcuts. There's no easy land grab, so to speak. Things are difficult. You've got to pick your markets very carefully.
Sure.
And if you look at all these things, from the UK to China, we've been there a long time. We've learned a lot of lessons over time.
Sure.
These are not simple, how can I say, executions.
Absolutely. So you are one of South Africa's best known, best performing business people. Send a message to the president who's looking for $100 billion inside an economy that's now in recession, inside an economy that's talking about expropriation of land without compensation, and also talking about a difficult trading environment.
Wow, that's a very,
Please.
very tough.
He needs all his friends to
I
come
would
to the
be,
party.
firstly, I'm a great supporter of the President. I think we're going, hopefully, the right way. I think we need certainty about land expropriation, exactly what that means, giving people comfort that that's going to be done in the right way. I think we need certainty about the mining charter. I think we need policy certainty. And I think we need from business and government and civil society positive leadership about a future that people feel confident about and will invest in. You know, the other stuff about the recession and agriculture, and these are mathematical manifestations of confidence to an extent. You know, I know there are fundamentals in Turkey and Argentina and whatever, but I feel government and business needs to give the average South African confidence that the way forward is going to be good.
Right. Absolutely.